Okay, this is a Dromaeosaurus. I'm shooting him here at the San Antonio Aquarium here, using him as a backdrop. I want to talk a little bit about dinosaurs mentioned in Beowulf. Now this is going to sound real strange. If you look at the great Anglo-Saxon tome, which is Beowulf, it talks about a monster named Grendel. Now, Grendel had iron teeth, small front arms, and terrible teeth. And Beowulf was kind of hoosegout into coming in and hunting down the monster. And let's go over here and look at the Dromaeosaurus here and the Dilophosaurus. So it was some kind of theropod mentioned in Beowulf. They had the smaller front arms. So was it one of these? I don't know. But Beowulf, Grendel gets injured and Beowulf rips off the arm. Well, as you can see, the arms on these are not really that big. I mean, I have a giant arm for pretty much by anybody's standards. My arm's actually bigger around than this thing's. So next time if you haven't ever read Beowulf, you probably need to. And when they talk about Grendel, think about the way it's described. And the word dinosaur didn't even exist till 1845. So there's lots of mentions in the British Isles and Europe about dinosaurs. Now there's a village in France, and they have a festival about a monster. It's called Nurlock, and if you look at the description of it, it sounds a lot like a Triceratops. The village of Nurlock. Now, there's several books that are called the Irish Chronicle. There's an actual book called the Irish Chronicle, and then there's the Chronicles of Boyle, the Tooth of Demano, and there's several of these chronicles talk about monsters, dragons. Ancient people called dinosaurs dragons. Virtually every single culture had dragons in it. Now, the one that I'm talking about in the Chronicles of Ireland talks about something that had the head of a horse, weird plates on its back, and iron spikes on its tail. Well, what animal has all those things? That's a stegosaur. So, the Annals of Ireland. The Annals of Ireland talk about this animal. So, the head of a horse. This is close to a horse. If you were to figure out something else that you could describe it that you were familiar with, plates on its back and iron spikes on its tail. Virtually all towards the middle of the Dark Ages, the word gargoyle came from the monster that lived in the Seine River called Gargulon. Now, what happened? This sea serpent Gargulon was killing people, and so the local bishop grabbed some of the more sturdier luminaries in the area, and they hunted down and killed Gargula. Well, they cut its head off, and they put it on the corner of the church because they thought Gargula was maybe was sent by Satan or a representation of Satan. And so they put it on the corner of the church. That's where the word gargoyle came from. So the next time you hear the word gargoyle, look up the word gargula, and that was the name of the sea serpent that was in the Seine River. So the head eventually, decomposed, and they started putting They made a stylized representation of it and put it on the corner of the church. That's why gargoyles started off in the Gothic cathedrals, mainly in France. Now they spread to other parts, but they started off in France. The Cathedral of Notre Dame is definitely known for its gargoyle statues. Well, anyway, that's where the term gargoyles came from the word gargula. And so, you know, if you read the Bible, especially in Job, it talks about Behemoth and Leviathan. Those were dinosaurs. Tail of a weaver beam. People say, well, that's an elephant. Well, the elephant doesn't have a tail like a weaver beam. That's kind of the tail of a weaver beam right here. And so dinosaurs, most of them were wiped out in the Noahic flood, but a few made it through, and mankind has killed virtually all of them. There might be still a few in the Congo, but anyway, there might actually be some pterodactyl type creatures in Borneo. They call them the rope and the condamado. There's also the legend of the Mohili Membe. But anyway, check out all this stuff. The seminal work on all this stuff was done by Kent Hovind, Ken Ham. Trey Smith has great stuff on it. He's a professional filmmaker. I recommend everything he does. And I've got more stuff on it on timbosplace.com and some of my other YouTube channels. Pat Moynihan, Patrick Moynihan, and Tim Moynihan. Subscribe if you like this, and I'll try to get more for you. Thank you. God's word is true.